Merry Christmas everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the most adorable team the Great League has ever seen, with 3 teddy bears in the form of Pancham, Teddiursa and Cubchoo. All excel by the way, and at level 50 this Cubchoo doesn't even reach 1200 CP. Now if you're looking at the team and thinking, this doesn't really look like it's built for combat, well you'd be absolutely right. This team seriously sucked, and the current meta with the likes of Skarmory, Poliwrath, Talonflame etc. all just completely destroy this team, but I was determined. I spent several months grinding all the XLs to build this trio, so I was going to make sure I got at least one win. Now unfortunately it was just the single win with this team, and I'll put it at the start of the video because I don't want to waste your time, especially on Christmas Day, and then after that I'll showcase a few more battles that were either close or showcase why it was just so difficult to get a win with this team. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. How many battles do you think it took me before I finally got my win with this team? To give you a hint, I started this team in the 2500 elo range, and my win came after I dropped all the way down into the 1900s. So let me know your guess in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, and this is the winning battle, like I mentioned at the start of the video, we lead into Alolan Sandslash. Now, for most fighting types, this is an incredibly dominant matchup, but unfortunately Pancham's preferred moveset doesn't include a single fighting type move. I think it has low sweep and low kick as its moves that are fighting type. We go for a crunch, we do at least grab a shield, we get the defense drop, but they're able to fully Shadow Claw farm me down before I even make it to a second charge move. So you can see we are really up against it here. I'm going to come in with the Cubchoo, tank what I thought might be an Ice Punch, which they did go and throw, which is really good for me because that is resisted. They then throw a Drill Run. I'm going to shield the first one here, going to go for a full lick farm down. Now the opponent will make it to another charge move. I can't afford to double shield, so the Drill Run does big damage there, but then they swap into a Swampert. Do they know about the Trailblaze damage? We full send it here, we one-shot the Swampert, we boost our attack, we get the lick farm down as well, and the opponent has a Venusaur in the back. Now unfortunately Cross Chop is resisted. Can we at least grab a shield? No, we're not able to do so, but my switch clock barely comes up in time. Can we outpace them to the back-to-back charge moves here? We go for the Icy Wind, debuffing their attack, and can we make it to the next Icy Wind? The opponent throws a charge move. Are they at the back-to-back Frenzy Plants here? They go for the first one, but they weren't at the second one, and we can make it to Icy Wind number 2, taking out the Venusaur, and I'm able to take that game. So there you have it, I was able to win with this team. It took way longer than I was expecting, literally over a full day's worth of battles. But now we're going to go into some of the close losses, or just examples as to why this team was so freaking difficult to win with. Here the opponent's going to come in with a Dunsparce. We've got Cross Chop as coverage, but you're going to see Cross Chop just doesn't do much damage there. It's really unfortunate, and that's probably the biggest issue with this team, is that Pancham and Teddiursa, they don't have a single stab move in their preferred moveset. I know Teddiursa is purified, I could be running Return, but I just thought Trailblaze might help up against those Mud Boys, and obviously for the win it certainly did come in clutch. But here Pancham doesn't have any fighting type moves. Hopefully this Body Slam takes out the Dunsparce, and it barely does. And now we can go for another Body Slam into the Mantine coming back in, but we're going to have to swap out basically straight away. We swap into Cubchoo, the opponent immediately swaps into their Trevenant, and now we've got a win condition here. We're going to go for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind does big damage, and we get the farm down, but potentially could have got slightly more farm there if I anticipated that the opponent was going to no-shield that. But I'm hoping if I can Icy Wind debuff them again, maybe we can just fully tackle farm them down with my Pancham. So we go for the Icy Wind here. I know the opponent will be able to outpace me, or just potentially just fully farm me down here if I shield and go for another charge move. So instead we're going to come in with the Pancham. They are debuffed, but unfortunately they're still able to get the wing attack farm down, and we do narrowly lose that game. But GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, not a great lead, so we're going to swap into our Teddiursa, and the opponent's going to stay in. They're going to chip with a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb doesn't do too much damage there, and now they swap into Whiscash. We've got Trailblaze. Trailblaze was new either this season or the previous season, and the opponent doesn't respect the damage. It actually doesn't quite one-shot them, but I can safely shield this up. I will be able to regain switch advantage, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come in with the Cresselia. We are going to go for another Trailblaze here, and this should probably grab a shield here. Trailblaze does grab the shield. We boost our attack by a second stage, and we do make it to a Cross Shot. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it to another Trailblaze, but we grab both shields from the Cresselia. So we're going to come in with the Pancham. I'm just going to fully sacrifice it here as the opponent is going to go and full send a Future Sight, which is not ideal for me because even though Future Sight is not going to be super effective up against my Cubchoo, it will still deal a ton of damage. So I'm going to shield that up. I'm going to over farm here and the opponent makes a really nice catch, but I'm going to go and undercharge this, hoping to farm them down. But once again, that did more damage than I was expecting it to do. We do make it to another Icy Wind. I don't think this will KO, but it should hopefully mean that we can tank whatever they throw. The opponent is going to go for another Future Sight, but it still one-shots the Cubchoo, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent, very close game, into the next battle, and once again, fighting type up against an ice type Pokemon, but we're gonna lose this. And actually, I didn't know this until I checked later after I'd done these battles. I went to PvPoke, I looked at how these Pokemon perform up against the meta, and according to PvPoke, there are 45 meta Pokemon for the Great League. Guess how many times Pancham can actually win in the one shield scenario? It's a whopping 0 wins up against the meta. That is absolutely insane, and I was like, no wonder this team did so bad. Pancham literally cannot beat anything in the even shield scenarios. But here, unfortunately, if we had alignment, I think we'd be looking pretty good here. I could fully Powder Snow farm down this Flygon and just Icy Wind debuff the heck out of the Azumarill. But unfortunately, we don't have alignment. Now, I'm thinking Powder Snow probably takes out the Flygon there, so they've got back-to-back moves. They just go for Scorching Sands anyways. They don't get the debuff, which is big for me. And now do 2 Play Roughs take out an Azumarill from nearly full health? I think it's quite unlikely, but just for science, we're going to throw it anyways, see how much damage this does. And Play Rough really doesn't do much damage, so I'm just going to concede the match there. So GG's to that opponent there, into the next game, and I do sort of mix up the leads here and there because I don't know, I'm just trying to find any combination that could help me to win, because obviously Pancham in the lead, whilst it's like my coverage because I've got 2 Pokemon weak to fighting in the back, Pancham doesn't beat anything, so there's not a lot it can do. So now I'm using it as a safe swap. I thought maybe it might do slightly better since it does have Crunch for coverage, so if the opponent comes in with a Psychic type Pokemon, we might be able to at least force a shield or something, I don't know. But here we're going to go for a Body Slam up against the Clodsire, and if the opponent tries to go for the farm down, we will make it to another Body Slam, and Pancham actually putting in work after I just mentioned how absolutely useless it is, and we grab a shield advantage. But not only that, we've got an Icy Wind loaded on my Cubchoo, so I'm going to throw it straight away. Icy Wind grabs both shields from the opponent. And now at this point, I'm actually going to shield this up. I kind of wanted to preserve the Cubchoo just because I know Dugong can permanently debuff my Teddiursa. But at this point, they had back-to-back moves, so can't really double shield there. Going to come in with the Teddiursa, and the opponent has a Shadow Drapion in the back. So this isn't ideal. I should be able to barely make it to back-to-back cross chops before the opponent makes it to a second crunch. But unfortunately, I don't think Teddiursa will be able to live an Icy Wind and the resulting Ice Shards that will take me out here. But we can throw the second cross chop, taking out the Drapion, and now can we make it to back-to-back moves before the opponent makes it to an Icy Wind and gets the farm down. Icy Wind does a huge amount of damage there. I'm actually going to throw the cross chop. I don't think I'm making it to the second one, but with the debuff, cross chop wouldn't be enough damage to take them out anyways, but they get the Ice Shard farm down, and unfortunately we do lose that game. Into the next game, incredibly positive lead, so this is looking really good for us. The opponent safe swaps into Licky Tongue. I swap out immediately. I was thinking, this is surely a positive matchup for the Teddiursa. We're hitting for super effective damage with the cross chops, but it just doesn't do much damage there. And then we also lag, which obviously doesn't help me, but I don't think it's making much of a difference in this matchup. I'm going to let the first move go through here. Body Slam does about nearly 50% of our health, but the licks are adding up a lot more on us than they are up against the Licky Tongue, so unfortunately they're going to be able to flip this matchup if they want to, and yeah, it's just not looking good for us. I don't think I can afford to double shield now. So Body Slam is going to get us very low. I actually swap out there just because otherwise they could have farmed me down, which certainly wouldn't have been ideal. We're now going to go for a Body Slam, hoping to grab a shield from the Shadow Dragonite, but they will be able to fully farm me down, but I would have made it to a Body Slam there. So they do throw just before we make it to Body Slam number 2. I'm hoping I can just Powder Snow farm them down from this range before they make it to another charge move, but they should be able to get to a second charge move. So I'm going to use my final shield here. The opponent going to full send the superpower. We will come out with an Icy Wind loaded, but they've got a Registeel in the back, so even if we maintained alignment, Pancham cannot beat a Registeel despite it being a fighting type because it doesn't have any fighting type moves. And there we tried to catch a Focus Blast, didn't work out, so I just concede the match there, but GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, I'm going to save swap into my Panjam, expecting the opponent to swap out, and they come in with a Sableye, which it's not that bad for us since we are going to resist the foul play damage, and Crunch is neutral here, but they will be able to outpace me. Tackle doesn't charge particularly fast. Foul play is resisted, but they will throw a second charge move to take us out. And now at this point, Teddiursa could potentially come in and farm them down, but I think instead I'm going to come in with my Cubchoo, just basically sacrifice it since it can't do anything up against the Sandslash, and hope that my Teddiursa can sweep in the end game. So foul play nearly takes us out. We swap into Teddiursa, they come back in with the Sandslash, and I'm hoping the opponent has no idea what moves we're running, so I go for the cross chop, but the opponent uses their shield. And now unfortunately, because they're running Powder Snow, and once again we are lagging a bit here, which is not ideal, but because they're running Powder Snow, I'm going to have to use my shields here because the Powder Snows are adding up obviously a lot more than the Shadow Claw damage would. So unfortunately, I can go for a cross chop, they can use their final shield, and they will very easily be able to take me out with an Ice Punch from this range. And yeah, Cubchoo has a Icy Wind loaded, but that's not going to do anything. So I'm just going to let them take me out with the Powder Snow, and unfortunately we lose yet another game. But into the next game, we're going to see Bastiodon in the lead. Not ideal, and I saw this team like 4 or 5 times, and some of them were like in a row as well. It was just so dreadful to see. Like, come on, be creative with your teams, please. Like, do you actually get any enjoyment when you run a team like this? Let me know in the comment section down below if you use this team and you actually enjoy using it, but I just can't see how you can find that fun. But here, I put in another one just for your sake so you can see how freaking annoying this was. And I'm trying to win with a team of teddy bears, and I just keep on seeing the same toxic cancer team over and over again. But into the next game, we're going to see an Azumarill in the lead. So I'm going to swap into my Teddiursa, another Charmer, this time Shadow Granbull. We're going for the Trailblaze though, and Trailblaze is going to do huge damage to the Granbull, and we're actually able to flip switch advantage, and the opponent comes in with a Hypno. We make it to a cross shot. We're boosted though, and the opponent doesn't know the counts or they don't know the moves, and they end up using their shield. So actually we just got switch advantage and a shield advantage with my Teddiursa there, so that's pretty good. But unfortunately, we've got Pancham in the back that can literally not be a single thing, especially Azumarill, which is going to be hitting for super effective damage with the Play Roughs. But let's just see how it goes. We're going to go for a Play Rough of our own. I don't expect them to shield this up, and the opponent does let it go through, so that might be my win condition here. We are unfortunately going to have to use my shield, and the opponent is going to go for an Ice Beam, and they're going to throw straight away. So this should just be another Ice Beam, which is amazing because that is not super effective. I don't know why they went for the Ice Beam there, but now I can build up to the back-to-back body slams. Honestly, I'd probably prefer if they shielded that, but they don't shield it. We get the tackle farm down. I'm just going for the crunch. I need to get the debuff. I'm not going to get to 2 more body slams, so we go for the crunch. We don't get the debuff, and at this point, the opponent should be able to outpace me to the charge move, and even if they didn't, they could have just confusion, farm me down, but Shadow Ball easily takes out the Cubchoo, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But into the next game, we're going to see Toxicroak in the lead, so absolutely awful. Basically, any fighting type was just really bad for the entire team. We swap into the Pancham. I can live a Mud Bomb, but then they can just probably counter fire me down. So I shield that up. I'm going to throw my Body Slam, throwing it a little bit before they make it to the next charge move, and the opponent is actually going to no-shield the Body Slam here. Unfortunately, I think I would have lost CMP, so I don't throw there. They go for the Mud Bomb, take us out, but I'm thinking, without the fighting type Pokemon, we might have a little bit of play. We are still down a shield, so not ideal. We come in with the Cubchoo. They've got Bastiodon. Are you kidding me? So we're going to swap into Teddiursa. And there's a Medicham, so that sucks. Yeah, don't need to say any more than that. But into the next game, we're going to see Greninja, and the opponent instantly swaps out there into Registeel, which is very strange. I don't know why they swapped out of a positive matchup, but we're going to go for a crunch there. The opponent lets it go through, doesn't do much damage at all. We're going to let this move go through here, and Zap Cannon, it probably doesn't quite put us into range where they can farm us down because Pancham is nearly level 50. It's actually got quite a lot of HP, not a lot of defense, but it does mean that these lock-ons that are doing 1 damage aren't really chunking that much, and the opponent throws a Focus Blast to get rid of us, so that's fine with me. We're going to come in with the Teddiursa. I'm not going to throw straight away here because they're obviously not doing much damage with the lock-on, so I'm thinking that I can just go and build up a ton of extra energy. The opponent swaps into their Sableye. We're going for a Trailblaze there. We were debuffed though, so I probably shouldn't have thrown that, and now I'm going to go for a Cross Chop, hoping to grab a shield from the opponent, and we do grab a shield, so now we're going to swap into our Cubchoo, basically just fully sacrifice it, but we have seen already we can barely live a foul play from full health there, and we make it to an Icy Wind. So Icy Wind takes out the Sableye, no shields left on the opponent's end, we've still got a shield on our Teddy Ursa, the opponent swaps into their Registeel, I'm hoping I can get the farm down, but I'm not able to do so, and at this point there's no point in shielding, so Focus Bars takes me out. I needed to get the full farm down there to win with that game, with that team, sorry. And into the final battle of the video, we're going to lead Pancham into Umbreon. This, on paper, should be a pretty decent matchup here, as they're going to be throwing only resisted moves other than the Last Resort, but the opponent's going to swap into Clodsar. I'm going to shield the first one just because, of course, we are running Icy Wind. They also could have gone for a Stone Edge there, but they didn't. We're going to go for the Icy Wind immediately. Icy Wind going to debuff their attack, and now at this point, I should be able to live the next move, especially since they don't build up to a potential Earthquake here. So they go for the Sludge Bomb. I'm hoping I can get the full Powder Snow farm down, but unfortunately, I'm not quite able to do so. I have to throw here to get rid of the Clodsire. Icy Wind will take them out now. They're probably going to come back in with the Umbreon, so I'm just going to go for a Play Rough straight away, and Play Rough will hit for super effective damage. It actually does a respectable amount of damage to the Umbreon. We swap into our Pancham, we go for a Body Slam straight away, grabbing a shield from the opponent. Now I'm going to let this move go through as the opponent goes for the Last Resort. They then swap into their Medicham. This is not ideal for me. Honestly, only making it to one charge move, should have gone for the Crunch here, as Crunch does have the opportunity to debuff their defense. And now it's all up to my Teddy Ursa. I've got to try and make a catch as well, so we're going to come in with the Teddy Ursa. I'm going to let the opponent throw straight away. Of course, I can't swap out just yet, so I'm going to use my shield here as the opponent full sends a Dynamic Punch. We swap, we try to catch after one extra counter, but the opponent holds on to their energy. They can now go for the Dynamic Punch, and they're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video, a bit of a different video to usual, but if you did still enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, possibly with more wins than this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great Christmas day.